March 1946. A ruined street in the American zone of Berlin. Snow is falling in thick, silent flakes. Among the rubble walks a young German mother, Anna Schaefer, 28 years old, carrying a 4-year-old boy on her hip and holding the hand of her 6-year-old daughter. All three are wrapped in whatever coats they could find. Their faces are thin, cheekbones sharp, eyes too large. The children haven't eaten properly in weeks. Anna hasn't eaten in 3 days, so the little ones could have half a boiled potato each. If this story moved you, tap subscribe, and let me know where you're watching from so these forgotten memories keep traveling the world. She sees a lone American soldier on patrol. Tall, clean uniform, helmet pushed back, rifle slung easy. Private First Class James O'Connor, 22, from Brooklyn. He is chewing gum and looks almost bored until he notices the woman and the 2 small shadows beside her. Anna gathers the last of her courage. She steps forward, voice cracking from cold and shame. "Please, my children are starving. Do you have anything at all?" She expects a shove, a shout, a gun raised. That is what the radio told her Americans did. That is what the neighbors whispered. Instead, the soldier stops chewing. He looks at the little boy whose lips are blue. He looks at the girl clutching her mother's coat with fingers like twigs. James reaches into his field jacket pocket and pulls out a Hershey bar, then another, then a small tin of Spam, then a pack of Wrigley's gum. He kneels so he is eye level with the children and holds the chocolate out. The little girl stares as if it is gold. She doesn't move. She's been taught never to take anything from the enemy. Anna starts to cry silently. Tears freeze on her cheeks. She whispers, "It's all right, Liebling. Take it." The children still don't move. James unwraps one bar himself, breaks off a piece and pops it in his own mouth first. He smiles. "See? Good." Only then does the girl reach out with trembling fingers. But James isn't finished. He stands, looks up and down the empty street, then motions for Anna to follow him. She hesitates, terrified it is a trick. He waits. Finally, she walks. 10 minutes later, they reach the American mess tent on the edge of the district. Inside, it smells of coffee and real bread. GIs look up, curious. James speaks rapidly in English. A cook sergeant nods, disappears, comes back with a metal tray. Thick slices of warm rye bread, butter, 2 fried eggs each, powdered milk already mixed, and a bowl of canned peaches in heavy syrup. Anna stands frozen in the doorway. She has not seen this much food in one place since 1941. James pulls out a chair for her, then for the children. The little boy climbs up and immediately begins eating with his hands. The girl tries to be polite, but ends up the same. Anna tries to thank them in broken English. No one understands the words, but everyone understands the tears. When the plates are empty, the cook refills them without being asked. James produces a paper bag, fills it with more bread, 2 cans of beans, a jar of peanut butter, another Hershey bar. He presses it into Anna's hands. She looks at him, then at the bag, then back at him. Finally, she manages one clear sentence in German. "You are feeding the children of your enemy." James shrugs, a little embarrassed. "Kids didn't start the war, ma'am." That evening, back in their freezing basement room, Anna lights the single candle they own. The children fall asleep with chocolate still on their lips. She sits on the edge of the mattress and opens the paper bag again, just to make sure it is real. The next morning she returns to the same street corner. James is there again. This time she is carrying something wrapped in newspaper. A small porcelain angel. The only unbroken thing she still owns from before the bombs. She presses it into his hand. He tries to give it back. She closes his fingers over it and says the only English phrase she has practiced all night. "Thank you for my children." Every day for the next 3 weeks, James brings extra rations. Sometimes a can of peaches, sometimes powdered eggs, sometimes a blanket from the supply tent. The children begin to laugh again. color returns to their cheeks. Anna's milk comes back. She can nurse the baby she is expecting in 2 months. Years later, in 1962, a letter arrives at a Brooklyn firehouse. Inside is a photograph of 3 teenagers, 2 boys and a girl, standing proud in front of a rebuilt apartment building. On the back, in careful English handwriting, "To Private James O'Connor. You once told my mother children didn't start the war. Because of you, we got to grow up. Your German family. Anna, Klaus, Liesel, and little Peter." James keeps that photograph in his wallet until the day he dies. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness in the middle of the darkest winter becomes the light that guides 3 entire lives home. Brooklyn, December 1962. James O'Connor, now 40, married, 3 kids of his own, works as a New York City fireman. One evening he comes home, finds a thin airmail envelope on the table. West German stamps. His wife says, "It's in English, but the handwriting looks careful, like someone practiced every letter." He opens it. The photograph falls out first. 3 tall teenagers smiling in front of a modern apartment block. Then the note on the back. He reads it once, twice, sits down hard on the kitchen chair. His wife asks what's wrong. He can't speak for a long minute, then he just hands her the picture and says, "These are my German kids." He had never told anyone the full story, not even her, just that he once helped a family in Berlin. Now the family had found him through the Red Cross tracing service. Anna wrote 4 pages. She explained how after James rotated home in 1947, she kept going back to that same corner every single day for months, hoping to say goodbye properly. He was already gone. She never forgot the fireman who fed her children when no one else would. The porcelain angel he refused to take? She kept it on the table all those years. Every birthday the children kissed it and said, "Thank you, American Daddy," before cake. With the first care packages and Marshall Plan aid, Anna trained as a nurse. Klaus, the little boy who once had blue lips, became an engineer who helped rebuild the Autobahn. Liesel studied languages and now teaches English. Baby Peter, the one still in her belly when James gave the peaches, is in medical school. At the bottom of the letter, one more line. "If you ever want to visit, our door is open. You will never pay for a meal in our house. Never." James shows the letter to his firehouse buddies. They take up a collection. 6 months later, in summer 1963, James, his wife, and their 3 children fly to Frankfurt on a Pan Am Clipper. Anna and the kids meet them at the airport. The reunion photo makes the local papers. The American fireman hugging 3 young Germans who tower over him, everyone crying in the middle of arrivals. They spend 2 weeks together. James is given the best bed, the biggest steaks, endless bottles of beer. Anna will not let him lift a finger. At night, the teenagers beg for stories about Brooklyn. James teaches them baseball in the backyard. On the last evening, Anna takes him to the little porcelain angel, still on the same shelf. She says quietly, "We survived because of you. Germany survived because of people like you." James tries to make a joke, gets choked up instead. All he manages is, "I just gave away some extra K rations." Anna shakes her head. "No, you gave us tomorrow." 40 years later, in 2003, a new letter arrives at the same firehouse. This time it's from Peter, now a heart surgeon in Munich. Inside is an invitation to his wedding and a plane ticket already paid for. James, gray-haired, retired, boards the flight with his grandchildren. At the wedding reception he is introduced not as a guest, but as our American grandfather. When the band plays, Peter's new wife pulls James onto the dance floor first. The whole room cheers. James dies peacefully in 2011 at age 88. At his funeral in Brooklyn, among the firemen and the bagpipes stand 4 tall Germans, Klaus, Liesel, Peter, and their mother Anna, now in her 90s, flown over one last time. She places the little porcelain angel on his casket. The priest reads the line Anna asked for. He shared his bread with my children when the world had no bread left. Because of him, 3 generations carry kindness in their hearts. Sometimes one chocolate bar, one quiet act on a snowy street in 1946 becomes a bridge that lasts a lifetime, and beyond. And the angel that was never accepted as payment finally found its home.